there's still time to change the road you're on.
Hi everybody, it's Dave the Red Pill Coach, and I'm back again, once again, to teach you guys how to make your life better and how to make your relationships work. So today, I'm going to talk to you about a number of topics. First of all, I would like to welcome you to my new office here in New York City, overlooking Market Street. And this is now the new home of my coaching world headquarters. Today we're going to finally finish off the passionate marriage. It is a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. I have another interview lined up with none other than Girl Writes What? That's right. The Red Pill Coach is going to interview Karen Strahan in the next couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that and finding out how her honey badgers all play into this. Because this is my fourth installment and the final, and let's roll on this. Okay, so in the first video to review, we identified crucible therapy and the idea that differentiation of the partners into separate whole individuals is often preferable to fusing them even further, which is, of course, the strategy used in almost all marriage counseling sessions. Counselors do. It's why they have an 80% failure rate. And it's why coaches have a much better success rate, because we focus on the actionable in the future instead of recapitulating the past. The second video, we dived into exactly what Schnarch means by differentiation and how it is the same. Listen carefully. Differentiation, according to Schnarch, is the same as what? Can you know? What is differentiation? If you are strongly differentiated, what is the red pill term for that? The red pill term for that is frame. When you have a strong frame, you are strongly differentiated from your partner. And then in the third video, I talked about 4 actionable techniques that you can use to improve and enhance your relationship and improve the emotion in your relationship. Number 1 is, of course, the 10-second kiss, drawn from Athol Kay. Number 2 is the hug to relaxation, which is a Schnarch technique. Number 3 is eyes open foreplay. And then finally, eyes open orgasm, maintaining eye contact throughout the sexual act. And those are 4 techniques. Very good, very effective for making your relationship better. And that's the whole purpose of these videos, right? So for the 4th installment, he gives us a couple of, kind of wraps it up. And he starts out in this chapter, I think it's chapter 12, with the Crucible Survival Guide. And I want to read the section from that where he starts it out. He calls the section Holding On to Yourself. And he says, going through gridlock in your marriage is much like climbing a mountain. If you feel in control of yourself rather than trying to control the terrain and the weather, you can relax and enjoy the climb. But when you're tense and feeling out of control, the climb seems far more difficult. It helps if you keep in mind that you never really master the mountain. You master yourself in the process of climbing the mountain. Self-mastery and self-control means to hold on to yourself. That is, hold on to your frame. That's what they're talking about. That's what Schnarch's talking about. Hold on to yourself, develop a frame, and hold on to it. And if you don't have a frame, his solution is to fake it till you make it. That's the solution. And he lists a bunch of elements of holding on to yourself. In other words, holding on to your frame. What does frame look like? So many people ask that, right? What does frame look like? Well, frame, number 1, is to build frame, you develop and maintain a clear sense of self. Where do you and your desires end, and where do your partners begin? You got to define that. That's how you start. Maintain and develop a clear sense of self. Number 2, develop and maintain a clear sense of perspective. And you do this by pulling out of the situation. Can you look at the situation from orbit? Can you look at the situation from treetop level, or from 1,000 feet, or 10,000 feet? That's what we mean by perspective. Number 3, be willing to engage in self-confrontation. Now, we call this, on the Married Red Pill blog, owning your shit. That's right. You have to be able to own your shit. You have to be able to confront yourself, to face yourself, and to acknowledge your contributions to the situation that you are in. Married Red Pill has a term for that. We call it destroy your covert contracts, because your projections are covert contracts. You're expecting your partner to react in a certain way because you're behaving in a certain way, and they're under no obligation to act in that way. They're just not. They're under no obligation to act in a way based on your actions. So your actions can inform her future behavior, but they cannot necessarily control it. Not directly. You have to exert control indirectly. So you have to focus on controlling yourself, not controlling your partner. And as a corollary to that, you have to focus changing how you view the relationship, not changing the relationship itself. It's a subtle distinction, but when you think about it, it really makes sense. Because the answer is to focus on you as the solution, not the relationship changing or the wife changing as the solution, but you changing. And that's the way coaching works. And then number 8, he says, stop complaining and trying to change your partner. In other words, and he says it, keep your mouth shut. What do Married Red Pill call this? STFU. That's right. Shut up. Stop complaining. And this is a tough one for most guys because we've been conditioned to expect it. But stop expecting your partner to provide the emotional validation that you think you need. You get emotional validation from yourself. That's it. If you expect it from a wife, she's not going to get it, and she's not going to give it to you. If you don't expect it, you may get some of it. But if you expect it, it's going to be willfully and maliciously withheld. So you have to put yourself in a position where you do not expect emotional validation from the wife. So what is not holding on to yourself? He lists a few of those. Not holding on to yourself is, in other words, what is breaking frame? What is it when you lose frame? Well, number 1, when it's not holding frame, it's not holding on to yourself when you are being confrontational. What is there to fight about? You know what you want, and if she disagrees with what you want, there's nothing to fight about. Go do it. Right? Go do it. What's there to argue about? If you know what you want, there's nothing more to argue about. You're going to argue about that, no, you really don't want this. That makes no sense. So don't do that. Focus on what you want first. Because if you don't, you have broken frame. You are not holding on to yourself. It's not about disrespecting or hating your wife. It's certainly not about hating all women, you MGTOWs out there. Red Pill is not about hating women. We love women. But it's about understanding women. And you can't love someone until you do understand them. And so by taking the red pill, by accepting that men and women are different, you actually put yourself in a position to give love to your partner in a way that you never could have before. So that's something to think about. Number 3, holding frame is not picking and choosing what you hold on to. And there's a reason for that. Because you will invariably pick and choose what is holding you back. I'm going to hold on to whatever is holding me back. Why do people do that? I have no idea. I don't know. They just do. So you can't hold on to part of yourself. You have to let go of the stuff that you don't control and hold on to what you do control. Number 4, holding on to yourself and maintaining frame is not about taking what your partner says with getting touchy and hurt and, being defensive. That's not holding frame. That is the opposite of holding frame ladies and gentlemen, corollary to that is that it's also not about thinking, even thinking, much less trying, even thinking that this is about changing your partner. It's not. It's about changing you. It's about changing you. And that's what we work on. Because this expectation that your partner will change if you do X, Y, Z is nothing more than a covert contract. It's a covert contract. Kill it. Burn it with fire. That's my advice to you with your covert contracts. Get rid of them. So after this, he jumps into the next chapter, and he talks about self-soothing strategies. Now, we covered this, I think, in the first or second video about flooding. This is the Gottman concept of flooding, and he lists this, it takes up a whole chapter, but there's several self-soothing strategies that maybe you can use. Number one, stop taking things personally. Number two, identify your dilemma and the choices. Number three, regulate your emotions. Be stoic. Be in control. I would add, read the Enchiridion by Epictetus. Read the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Read the Bible. Read things that will enhance your ability to be a strong, powerful man. You do that by regulating your emotions. Number five, stop your mental block. Stop thinking bad thoughts. Look, we know about cognitive behavioral therapy. It's very simple. If you begin thinking a bad thought like, boy, my wife is kind of a bitch. I really don't like her. Here's what I want you to do. Fuck! All right. Now, you know what I just did there? I don't even remember what I was talking about. Completely broke that line of thought. So that's what I want you to do. You can pinch yourself. You can look away. You can substitute another thought. All these are basic cognitive behavioral therapy techniques. And that's what you need to do when you're thinking bad thoughts. So get rid of them and replace them with good thoughts. And then number six is break contact. And you wouldn't believe the amount of grief we have received on Married Red Pill about this advice. We've combined STFU, leave the room, don't encourage bad behavior with your time and attention. And we've been told, oh, you're all going to get divorced. No woman will tolerate this. And then as it turns out, the leading marriage counselors recommend this as well. It's a timeout. Because in addition to leaving and not rewarding bad behavior, we also encourage you to reset every day, every 24 hours. Reset, act as if nothing's happened, because nothing has happened. Getting flooded, if you're losing it, take a time out, take up to a 24-hour break. You have my permission, you have David Schnarch's permission, and you have Gottman's, John and Julie Gottman's permission as well. This is a very common tactic that helps couples avoid being flooded. And then number 7, of course, is what we call dread level 3, get busy. He actually uses those words, get busy. Stay busy, be attractive, don't be unattractive, right? That's the bottom line. You have things to do, you have a place to go, people to see, and you don't need a nagging, bitching, unpleasant wife to hold you back. Get busy and get productive, especially when you're apart, so she can see what she is missing, and so that you build your outcome independence, that you have options other than your wife. And then finally, first of all, avoid comfort foods and drugs. So, I don't know how I feel about this, but obviously, if you're in distress, if you're not doing well, it's probably not best to get blind drunk every night. It's probably not best to start eating cake and cupcakes. It's best to get to the gym. So work on that, do that instead. And then finally, promote yourself. Promote yourself. You are a package, and you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself every day. You're selling yourself to your wife. You're selling yourself to all your friends. So do it. Don't be self-depreciating. Focus on the positive. Emphasize you at your best in order to build your frame. Now, in the next chapter, Schnarch identifies what is the basic rule of marriage coaching, essentially, or relationship coaching. And that is that when one partner makes a change, the other partner is forced to adjust. which means relationships are like a dance, right? So you're dancing together, and if one partner moves differently, the other partner must move differently as well, or you get out of step and it doesn't work. And that is an important consequence. What it means is that one person can repair a relationship, but it takes two people to destroy the relationship. So that's what I do. I work with guys on how to repair their relationships. Relationship off a cliff, but only one to force it back on the road. However, this is snark talking. Poorly differentiated couples, which includes most of you guys, often will not engage in true change until they are on the brink of divorce. But testing the divorce waters often brings them to their senses, if they don't go full reptilian and bolt from the marriage. I have to laugh at that description because it's a pretty cogent description of going Rambo, right? That's what he's talking about. You went reptilian and you left the marriage. Don't go Rambo. Don't go reptilian. Take stock and use this part of your brain right here, not the reptilian part way back here hiding. Use the front of your brain. One of the wonderful things about this book is he concludes it with a quote from our favorite movie, Fight Club. He says, quote, "At this point of critical mass, when you think your marriage might be over, you are finally likely to speak your personal truth. Once you're willing to say the important things you thought would ruin your marriage, it often saves your marriage." Folks, this is straight from Tyler Durden. This is straight from Fight Club. He said, losing all hope is freedom. Because it's only when you've lost everything that you're free to do anything. And when you reach this stage, the criticism, the contempt, the eye-rolling, the disrespect, it all goes in the past because now the shit just got serious. Now you are willing to change your actual behavior, and now your wife just may be willing to listen. So thank you very much. The next couple of weeks, as I've said, we're going to go interview Karen Strahan of Girl Writes What, and then I'm going to do an interview of our good friend over at RP Christian's website, and I've also got another interview of a coach who is a really cool guy, Michael. In the meantime, go out there, build your frame, work hard, lift, and always, always remember, there's only one person who can change the world, and that is you.
I can't do this all on my own. No, I know I'm no Superman.